right, here we go again. I promise that Chelsey and I are not gross and just wearing the same clothes for several days in a row, because we just finished recording the first episode of our Walking Dead podcast. So that was fun. That was exciting. So we've already been talking for probably 5 hours. I don't even know. And now we're going to record an episode of Jukebox Junkies. So this is the show where I still didn't write down the intro. Damn.
It is the show where we tackle all the music industry topics, including politics and
trends,
pop culture. And
we are so good at this, guys.
okay, so we're just gonna call this like the pre-season to our seasons, and then eventually we'll start a season 1 or something of our Jukebox Junkies.
There we go. This is the preview.
Yeah, there you go. The preview season.
Also, I feel like I've been on like crack or something today because I have just been insane. I woke up with like so much energy and like I don't even know. Like I've been just crazy today. So this ought to be interesting. Plus, I'm eating chocolate. So there is that. Yeah, so since I'm in a really good mood, let's talk about something really depressing. And let's talk about Demi Lovato. We had already kind of touched on the first 2 episodes of her documentary about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that. But since then, those final 2 episodes have come out, and her full-length studio album. I don't know. I was gonna say her full-length number studio album, but I'm not sure how many there are now.
Like 6 or 7.
Probably something like that. I looked it up the other day. I cannot remember. But he released Dancing with the Devil, ... the artist starting over. So what were your initial thoughts on the album?
Okay, so I have trouble with this album. Like, I know that I should love it, and I know the full story behind it, and there are moments that I do love it. You know, there are some really, really good songs in there, but overall, it just kind of hit here when I felt like it could have been here.
Yeah. I politely disagree. I thoroughly enjoyed it, but the first time I listened to it, I was with you. Like it was like, this is not quite exactly what I was expecting. Like I thought there'd be a little bit more to it, but after I finished the documentary and I re-listened to the album, a lot of things hit home a lot more.
Right. And Melon Cake is one of my favorite songs off of the album, and it has pretty much no substance. It's literally her saying no more melon cake on my birthday.
Yeah.
And
it's the first time I listened to this album. So my best friend, the one that I just got off the phone with. So right before we got on air, I was on the phone with my best friend. Her favorite artist of all time is Demi Lovato. So we listened to the album together in the car. We were driving around one day and doing some stuff. So when we were in the car, we were listening to the album, and she had already listened to it before, but it was my first time listening to it. And Melon Cake came on. She's like, this one is the one that I just cannot stand. Like, I don't like it. Like, it's so stupid. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Then I heard it and I'm like, yeah, I kind of agree. Like, this is probably the worst one so far. But then I listened to or watched the last 2 episodes of the documentary, and then I realized what Melon Cake was about and what a melon cake was, and it totally flipped the script, and it became one of my favorites in the album. So,
well, the first time I listened to the album, I had not seen the second half of the documentary, and I loved that song anyways because I knew immediately, like, oh, they gave you melon cake, like watermelon. I didn't know watermelon cake, but obviously like cantaloupe or something. Right. They gave you melons for your birthday cake, Demi. God.
And there's lines, and is it in Melon Cake? I think it could be a different song, but there's a part in it where it says like, they bring a snack and they get fired.
Yeah, fired for eating chocolate in the backseat.
Yeah.
Ad
lib that says true story, or like that's or something like that. And I love was it Scooter Braun they were interviewing when they sat down and they were talking about kind of what her idea was for this album. And they didn't want to make a radio. That not that they weren't trying to make a radio hit, but that what their goal wasn't to be on the radio. Their goal was to just tell her story, and I think it succeeded in that.
I was wondering if this situation was going to change your mind at all about Scooter in any sort of way. To
No.
me, he is such a to me, he is genuinely that guy. He's a good guy that wants to help people. And I really appreciate the fact that because he was ready, like he said, he was ready to turn her down. He wrote up his papers, he had his references for people he was going to suggest. And then for some reason, he talked to her and he changed his mind. And
Well, wasn't it? Sorry, I don't know why I keep coughing all of a sudden, and I'm playing with this little thing, and I flew it across the floor. I told you I'm on crack today. I don't know what's going on. But wasn't it when she relapsed the second time when he's like, "She needs me"?
yeah, I mean, I feel like he had already realized that she needed somebody, but I think he realized fully that if she was able to come to him and tell him and face the repercussions of her decision, that she was serious about having this kind of partnership with him, because that's what I feel like it is. I don't feel like it's a manager client relationship. I feel like it's a partnership that they've entered into.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think Scooter Braun, he's a manager of Ariana Grande and Justin Bieber and Demi Lovato and Dan and Shay and J Balvin and Tori Kelly. And when you have, especially those first few that are so huge, it kind of has to be a partnership because Justin, Ariana, Demi, they're gonna do what they want. They have that power. They have proven track record. They're gonna make the music and do what they want, whether you agree with it or not. So you might as well get on board and guide them with that. My personal feelings of Scooter Braun aside, I think he does a very good job with Demi and with Justin. Well, Justin, yeah, with Justin and with
Any other manager would have dropped Justin on his little ass when he was showing it. I'm just saying.
Well, Demi full on says that her I don't even know who her old manager was, but
I
says
don't
that
either.
her old manager basically gave her ultimatums after ultimatums after ultimatums, and Scooter's not doing that. He's like you said, it's a partnership. They're working together. So still don't like the guy because of Taylor Swift, and and it's been a big week for why I hate Scooter Braun because of Taylor Swift, because of the Fearless re-release. But yeah, no, I agree that I might not love him because of that, but I don't think he's as bad as I want him to be.
I'll take it. It is a concession. It's a small win. Small wins. We focus on the small wins. We'll lose the battle, but we'll win the war.
That's fair.
No, but I feel like his leadership has done a lot for her specifically. I feel like, especially with all the crap that he's been through with Justin Bieber, specifically, like I feel like he's probably one of the people in Hollywood right now that are able and understand how to handle her situation that she's in.
Yeah.
Because it's ultimately like it's literally a rebirth thing, like that's the name of her last episode or the third episode, whatever.
I don't remember.
Whatever the order is, that's the name of one of them. And she needs people that are going to support her 100% and not.
Because obviously Demi was much worse off than Justin ever was when it came to, because Justin got he had a documentary, he was pretty open about drug abuse and stuff like that, but never got to the point where Demi was. And so I think Scooter was the perfect person to guide her as she started coming back. But then it sounded like the one thing that I really appreciated is they really did touch on quarantine, because quarantine could have made or break
Exactly.
someone in Demi's position, especially she had just started coming back. She went to the Grammys and performed Anyone, released that song, and that was supposed to be the first, well, it still is technically the first single. That was the start of the rollout for the album, but then she went in quarantine and they kind of put it all on hold, and she worked on herself and stuff. And aside from her failed relationship with Max. Is that his name?
Yeah, Max Irick or something like that.
Yeah.
However you say his last name, I
Um,
don't know.
but aside from that, she was really able to focus on herself, and she uh she's doing like meditation, and she got closer to she started going to church and stuff too, right? But she
Yeah,
started yeah, she really started working on herself. And so most people quarantine was horrible, but for Demi it wasn't. And I really appreciated them explaining that
yeah.
and talking about that.
So I don't know. There was it. The whole thing was a lot to take in. It's all a lot to process. Um, the main thing that kind of sticks out in my brain is just they asked her if she was still sober when she was in that blue outfit, and the way she didn't answer, but your eyes answered. You know, I don't know. I'm worried about her. I will always worry about her. I feel that sentiment from her whole family,
Yeah.
and I'm not even like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not anybody. I'm just a fan, but
Right.
I do worry about her
Yeah.
daily.
Well, and I think I don't know if we had talked about it on air or not. You had explained what California Sober was to me before. And then there's a song on the album called California Sober.
Yeah.
And he addresses it in the documentary. I don't think she necessarily calls it, I don't think she actually called it California Sober in the documentary, but she does she will smoke a little bit of weed, and she does let herself drink a little bit. And I think and she could relapse at any point. You never know. But she really seems like she's finally figured it out. And kind of how if we were just my brain's still in Walking Dead, but so we were just talking about Walking Dead and how Morgan has struggled so much with his um he's like all the killing or none of the killing. Obviously he's a fictional character, but kind of an addict is kind of the same way. Demi, she's like she couldn't figure out she's either going to do none of it or all of it. And there was like no in between. It's just like Morgan, how we were talking about earlier on Fear the Walking Dead. I was saying how he's finally figured out how to balance the two. Demi finally seems like she's really at a point where she has found a good balance between the two and knows her limits and knows what she can handle. And it might not stick, you never know, but it seems like it really will this time.
But is that because she wants it, or is it because she almost died and she's scared? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like that's where I am with it. And I hope that it's because she really wants it, and we're going to get to live another 60, 80 years with Demi Lovato around, you know, but and I don't know. I it really kind of hit home. Elton John said, you know, there is no middle ground. You either do it or you don't. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And
Now, I don't think that's
I
true.
don't necessarily agree with that, but I think just from hearing Demi talk about doing drugs and using drugs and drugs in general, the way that she did it really makes me feel like maybe for her it is that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but you never know. We could all
Yeah.
be completely wrong.
And every single person is different. I know about myself, I have an addictive personality. I feel like I could be a great drug addict. Like I I know that's a double entendre, but I mean it. Like I know I keep referencing Walking Dead 'cause we were just talking about it, but once I discovered Walking Dead, I didn't just watch it. I learned everything about it. I like obsessed over it. Same thing with my favorite artists like Taylor Swift. Not only do I like her music, but I learn everything about her. And that's how I am with anything I find that I like, and almost to a fault. Like I put myself too into things sometimes. And that's why like I've never smoked a cigarette because I know I will get addicted to it. I've never smoked weed because I know I'll get addicted to it. And so but I do drink, but I am not addicted to drinking. So maybe that is maybe a double entendre, but I've also never tried just cold turkey stop drinking. I think I'd be fine, but I haven't gone very long without drinking since I was 17, 18 years old. So it's like I don't I don't know if I'm not an alcoholic, but I don't know how much I depend on it either.
Right.
So, but it's like one of those things where that I'm not anywhere near Demi Lovato, obviously, but um, it's so tragic to hear her. And I think her and I would be friends because I think we have similar personality types. We have similar ways that we deal with depression and anxiety and things. So I think that may be why her documentary hit and her album hit so home to me, because I felt like I could be her if I was famous at her, like when she was. Like I think I was someone that could have been easily tempted. I'm happy I have really strong morals and a really good family and friends and stuff that also have no interest in any of that stuff. So I've never even been able to put myself in those kinds of situations, but I don't know.
Well, and the thing about those situations is they happen kind of unknowingly. Like you just start out, like she said, going to a party, and then it turned up that her old drug dealer from 6 years ago was there. Like that is insane. That's a long time to just happen to run into somebody at the same party,
Yeah.
and then you go from partying to up the ladder, up the ladder, up the ladder, and then you end up where she was. And then, so I don't know, it was all just a very emotional time, and it was emotional then, it's emotional now watching it, so I understand why it took her so long to talk about it.
hmm And one thing, maybe the thing in the final two episodes that really hit home for me is that she said she lost her virginity in a rape. And
Yeah,
it was someone in the Camp Rock movie, from what she said. Now there were a bunch of men in that movie. There were the Jonas Brothers. There was, I don't know the other actors' names, but there was the camp counselor dude. There was um other, like that. What was that dancer dude that had other roles on Disney Channel later?
I
Where she,
must make a confession, I've never seen Camp Rock.
oh really? Okay.
Yeah, I
Well, I mean, you don't really have
mean,
to.
I know Allison Stoner's in there, I
Yeah.
know like the main kind of cast, but I've never seen it.
So like I'm watching that and I'm like, I don't think it was one of the Jonas Brothers, because
I
that
feel
was,
like it was the Jonas that she was supposedly dating, and that's just me. That's my personal tea.
yeah.
I
And
feel like that's why she was so hesitant to name the person specifically this whole time, because her and Nick are still good friends. Maybe
yeah,
Nick stuck up for her when nobody else did. And
yeah. And I would never put it out into the world that like Joe Jonas or Kevin Jonas did this, but like say it was Joe Jonas, the one that she was supposedly dating. They were both very young. He at that time may not have realized what he was doing. You never know. I mean, it's documented that he wasn't always the best guy when he was younger. He broke up when he was dating Taylor Swift. He broke up with her over a 20-second voicemail. Like, he wasn't always the most stand-up guy. I don't know if it was him or not, and maybe they reconciled and he deeply apologized. Maybe he didn't know it at that time, because when you're, how old were they when they filmed that movie?
she
16,
said she was 15. So
15. So yeah, so I don't know. When you're a horny 15-year-old, you might not realize that what you're doing is wrong. So maybe that's why she didn't name the person, because maybe if it was like Joe Jonas, maybe they've reconciled and she doesn't want to ruin his life over something that shouldn't now. Maybe. I don't know. Because Joe Jonas is seemingly a great guy now. So
yeah, but on the outside, from what we can see.
yeah, seemingly. So I don't know. That got me, because now I'm never gonna be able to watch Camp Rock the same. I'm not that I watch it often. Like I watched it once probably in the past 10 years, and that was just a few months ago when Disney Plus came out and I was excited. But I'll never be able to watch that movie the same, because every single guy that's in that movie now I'm gonna be like, were you the one that raped Demi? Were you the one that raped her?
Right.
Were you the one that raped her? And ruined her life, basically. Started this downward spiral from there.
This is a little bit off topic, but Allison Stoner, do you know who she is?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So she just like, let's see, I just watched Demi's documentary, finished it up yesterday. So 2 days ago, Allison Stoner posted this whole big thing about the toddler to train wreck system in the entertainment industry. And it's just, she focused on like how they're treated, and children actors specifically, and what they have to go through, and what it's like trying to leave the Disney scenes, shall we say, and then create your own like adult kind of personality and career and everything. She said they just make it super hard, and that's on people.com. You guys should all go check it out and read
Oh,
about
I'm
it.
gonna go check that out.
It's it's something that hit home period regardless when you read her story and watch it. But when I was watching Demi say these things about how she brought it to the attention of Disney and they did absolutely nothing, I was like, oh, so right there, toddler to train wreck,
Yeah.
prime example.
And I wish, and I don't know if Disney leadership has changed at all since 10 years ago when Demi and Selena, Miley, and the Jonas Brothers, and like people like Allison Stoner, she was a big part of that class of like Disney people, like Dylan and Cole Sprouse, like that like class of people. Um, I don't know if the management and the like the head of Disney has changed at all, but I hope it has, because I hate the thought that kids are still going through that. And I was gonna go
I
somewhere.
feel like even if it's changed, it hasn't changed enough,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
And if it hasn't, I really wish Demi and Miley, Selena, the Jonas Brothers, and then Dylan and Cole Sprouse, and then people like Allison Stoner or Ashley Tisdale, or like some of the other like Disney people that were around there that time. Yeah, the people from High School Musical. I wish, and High School Musical actors may have had a little different experience because it was, well, Camp Rock, they said, was part of that, so maybe not. But I wish they would all come together, and if there really was some really deep corruption, Demi can't be the only one that has a story like that. You know what I mean? So part of me is like, I wish they would all come together, and I hate to say take Disney down, but maybe just get, if that leadership or that person Demi went to talk to, if they're still there, get them out of there. Ruin their life for all I care. That's, you don't let kids get raped. You don't let kids do drugs.
Drugs on set.
Like, yeah, and but like cover it up at the expense of the kid. I'm all for like protecting the kid. Like if they caught Demi Lovato smoking weed on the set of Camp Rock, don't ruin her life, but like give her the proper guidance and help, and not just don't do them the dirty the way they did them all dirty. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
And then you go
I
like,
do.
you know how like when Guardians of the Galaxy's director, what was his name? I can't think of it. But when there were a lot of allegations, I don't remember if they were sexual assault, if it was like racism. There was something about it. The cast wrote an open letter, um, basically saying, no, he's good. We want him still. I wish Disney could do the same kind of thing, like with those characters, like those actors all come together and do it. Even people like Emily Osment, like get as many of them as you can.
Right. I mean, because it Mitchell Musso, right? Didn't he have a really hard time once Hannah Montana was over?
I think so.
So I mean, they all have even can go so far back as like Lindsay Lohan and Amanda Bynes and that generation
Yeah,
started.
Hillary Duff, get
Yes.
who's the other one that I was just thinking of? Raven Simone.
Yes.
Yeah,
All of them,
Shia,
because
Shia LaBeouf.
it's a serious thing, and I feel like as a society everybody doesn't take mental health seriously. They don't like to talk about it. It doesn't like to be addressed. It's still swept under the rug, and I don't know why. Like it's a
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, so I really think, and that chances are of all that happening, that all the former Disney stars going after the people in charge that let all this corruption happen. Chances are that happening are slim to none. That probably won't happen. But I hope Demi coming out and saying this and unapologetically telling her truth, and not caring who gets, not, I shouldn't say not caring who gets hurt in the crossfire, but being like, yeah, Disney did me wrong and they should pay for it. I hope this kind of starts, and then like Allison Stoner did it, and I hope this kind of starts that thing of all these I want them all to start coming out like and saying that, yeah, I was hurt, like this happened to me, like Vanessa Hudgens had all of her nude pictures leak when wasn't she still a minor? I don't
Yeah.
know exactly. Um, did Disney do anything to help her? Probably not. Like,
Um,
did they?
Disney is just so ancient. They're an ancient, huge empire. And I feel like, because, Walt Disney wasn't a very good man himself
No, I
anyway.
don't know too much about him.
He, from what I understand, he wasn't a great guy. He
Gotcha.
was kind of like misogynistic and didn't like women. And, so it makes sense that that kind of rolls on into the company's present day culture. And I feel like I just don't think that they're like, I feel like the people that work at that company think a certain way and
Mhm.
it's not going to be changed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I could just be kind of like typecasting and putting them all in one box. There could be some people there that really feel bad about the way that Disney operates, but I don't think so.
All they
I
see
think
is
they
all.
all like to make their money.
Mm-hmm. Like going back to when Vanessa Hudgens' nude pictures were leaked. How much you want to bet there were old men at that table in their 50s and 60s who said, this is good publicity. It'll give us some attention in the media. Not, oh my God, help her get rid of these and help her. And you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
bet that was not the number one conversation.
No, it
So
wasn't.
frustrating. Not frustrating is not the word. It's so infuriating that
Yeah. How can we spin this to make the optics look good for us? Who
yeah.
cares about her?
Yeah, like we'll be here. We'll have our jobs no matter what. We can get rid of Demi Lovato and get the next up and coming star.
Right.
Get Olivia Rodrigo, for example, who
Yes. Right. Because she is the new
did
class. That is
that.
her.
hmm
So
And who knows what kind of scandals she'll get sucked into, unfortunately. I hate that because she seems like a really cool, down to earth, humble kid. But it's not, I don't think it's going to be all rainbows and unicorns for her. And I hate
mm-mm.
that. I want it to be.
Yeah. And it should be, working at for a company that puts out products like Disney puts out, you wouldn't expect the company culture to be in such stark contrast to what they serve to the community. You know what
Right.
I'm
And
saying?
With Olivia Rodrigo, I'm pretty sure she's not on a Disney label, like a Disney record label. I think she's assigned to a totally different record label. Um, it's because like you know how when we were younger, like they'd play little music videos of their stars like in the commercials, or like there was like Disney songs, like
Yeah.
they would all like release solely like Disney singles. People like Allie and AJ, potential breakup
Yes, I
song.
love Allie and AJ.
But that was technically a Disney song, and I love that they re-released it as an explicit version this year. But um, Olivia Rodrigo, I don't think she's under that umbrella because driver's license says "fuck" in it. I'm pretty sure Deja Vu does too. Her brand new song.
Yeah, I love Deja Vu.
That would okay, cool. But yeah, so maybe not. So maybe she will have a better time. I don't know, but kind of off topic. But
Yeah, we'll have to see, and as far as Demi goes, we're all just gonna pray for her like a lot.
can
Or I
I
know I am.
say I want her house, her new house that they were showing at the end.
Oh,
I
dope.
I just want to be in that mushroom room. That's all I want. It was so cool. I just love. Did she have
Like,
a
look at
dog
the
park?
cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Demi, please, we would be such great friends. I'm also queer. Just I have a microphone. Um, I am also a queer. Just we will automatically be friends. uh, but anyway, yeah, I don't think there's too much more to really touch on. Um, in the documentary that I can think of. Um, I'm sure more things will come to me. What was you said your favorite song on the album was Melon Cake?
It's one of my favorites. I think probably my favorite is Dancing with the Devil.
Mine too. But you know which one I've actually been going back to the most? My girlfriends or my boyfriend with So Easy.
Yeah.
Even though that's probably the one song on the album that really, I mean, it's about her friends, but doesn't really have too much to do with her story. It's so much fun. And especially now with like the weather getting warmer, that is I don't know why they're not making that a big summer hit, because it would be.
Yeah.
So I love it. It's so good. What are your thoughts on Met Him Last Night with Ariana Grande?
It's okay.
That's
Once again kind of falls short of what I was expecting of Ariana.
yeah, my exact thoughts. It is so I was talking about this with my friend the other day. We were the one that called me earlier on who loves Demi. We were in the car going somewhere and Met Him Last Night came on the radio. And it's actually the official next single. I guess there's a music video coming out soon for it and everything. But I was saying how this is not the best song on the album. This is not even the most radio friendly song on the album. And not that that is the most important thing when picking out a single, but it's not, I just don't think it really shows the album in a great light. It's a good song on its own. It's fine, but the only reason it's getting pushed is because the record label said, hey, it's Ariana Grande. She has the two biggest pop radio songs of the year so far with Positions and 3435. We're going to push this to try to get Demi a hit. It irritates me. So I was telling her about how, like, even though Demi had talked in her documentary that she's not really concerned about getting that radio hit, she wants to make the songs that are telling her story and making the music she wants to make. It's not about getting that successful #1 song on pop radio, which had been basically a lot of her career going in the past, just because she's a radio artist. So, but I'm like, if you really wanted it just puts me in a bad, it puts it in a bad light because they're just doing it because of Ariana Grande. And I love Ariana to death, don't get me wrong, but I want it. They should push Dancing with the Devil more. They've already completely abandoned all of its promotion. I don't know why, because it's such a good song. But they could push My Boyfriends or My Girlfriend. That could be a great song to really bring Demi back up to that. I'm kind of rambling, but I don't know. It's on my nerves.
I get what you're saying. I definitely get it.
Someone's phone is ringing, but there is no one home but me. I don't know. Do you hear it?
Yeah.
I think there's a ghost in my house. I'm gonna go find out. Maybe my dad left his phone behind. Pause. Hello. I don't know. That's weird. My mom left her phone here today, but my grandma came and picked it up to take it to her because she's at work, but it's still back there. So what phone did my grandma take to my mom? I don't know. Anyway.
You said anyway.
Sorry, everybody. Oh, that looks crazy. Yeah, I got this new microphone and this new lavalier, and I can't figure out if I like how it looks on camera or not. Whatever. Anyway, yeah.
So, do we want to talk about some of our favorite songs of the week then?
Yeah, we absolutely. So my favorite song, my favorite music of the week, aside from the Demi album that I've been listening to a lot, My Boyfriends or My Girlfriend, I've had on repeat. It's probably one of my most played songs of the week. But everybody knows me and Taylor Swift are besties, and I have been listening to Fearless, Taylor's version, all week. All week. That's almost what I've been solely listening to. It's so weird because I know all those songs because I've known that album for 13 years. But it's so weird how they all sound a little different. Her vocals are a little better. There's some lyric changes, some key changes and some things. It's like the same but different, and it's throwing me off. And I mean, I love it. And it's more than just a release of a re-recorded album, because Scooter Braun, more or less, stole her music and wouldn't give her the option to sell it back. That could be a whole episode.
Scooter Braun bought her music rightfully from Big Machine. It's Big Machine. Big Machine is the asshole. They didn't offer it to her first.
Well,
Scooter had no reason to offer it to her first.
I say fuck them all.
I mean, right, righteously, but especially her father who made her sign that contract. But,
yeah, but anyway, that's like I said, that's a whole podcast. But her music was stolen from her. She was not given the options to even buy it back in 2019. And so she found a loophole and decided I'll just re-record my first 6 albums. And my personal thought is at first it was more of a power move, almost like if you do this, screw you, I'll just re-recording and you'll have no power again. But I think now that they didn't budge and she still couldn't buy them, and now she's re-recording them, I have a feeling, I bet if they came, because Scooter Braun doesn't own them anymore either. They were sold to
he sold them.
Yeah, another company. He still makes some money off of it, but it's kind of a different deal. But I think she would buy them back right now. She had the option, but now she said that she's having so much fun going back and redoing all these songs and just reliving in that space and that time again. And I think that'd be so cool. So one thing that I wanted to ask you is if there were any artist that has a 15-year, or like I should say 10-year plus catalog that they could go back and re-record and redo and fix some things, what is the one artist you'd like to see do that?
Ooh.
Is it someone that you love, like Florence and the Machine, just because?
Oh no, we would never mess with anything Florence has done. I mean, obviously, if she did a re-recording of Lungs, I would totally listen to it. But that I was honestly thinking Britney Spears.
Oh, that'd be that. I like that, and she's someone that might need to do that someday. I don't know. I don't know
How her
with. I don't know about her masters and stuff. I don't know her specifics, but with everything else that's happened that to her that's corrupt, wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Just for some reason, that was the first person that popped in my head. It was Britney Spears.
That's a good one. The reason I ask is because the other day, me and my friend that I've mentioned several times, we were driving around and we were listening to old Demi. Like we had listened to some of her new album. Then we were just playing a bunch of old songs. We listened to like some like La La Land and Get Back and Skyscraper, like some of her really old songs. And she sounds so, she was young. So like she sounds,
she was a baby.
yeah. And the same thing with Taylor Swift, like her voice is just higher and not as mature. Demi, back then, I would never have considered one of the best vocalists in music. But now, obviously, she's probably the best vocalist in music, arguably. But one of the absolute best voices to ever live. And I'd love to hear her go back to a song like La La Land or Get Back or something like that and put her matured vocals and her matured experiences into those songs and hear how she would do them today.
Yeah.
So it was really cool. And I think she's someone that could really benefit from that.
But it also might be too much, I feel like.
Yeah, and it might be. Yeah.
Because I feel like Demi's a person that if she gets in that headspace where things aren't like right anymore, or she's down and she can't figure out how to like turn it around, that's when she starts to kind of.
Yeah. We were listening to the song La La Land, which was one of her very first singles ever when she was still on Sunny with a Chance. And there's a line, I think in like the first verse, where she says that I still eat McDonald's. I don't remember exactly how it goes, but she talks about how she still eats McDonald's.
I'm not a supermodel. I still eat McDonald's.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just me.
Yeah. And I paused it and I was like, oh my God, Brianna, did you just hear that lyric? And she was like, no, I wasn't paying attention. What was it? I'm like, and she had watched the documentary and stuff too. And we'd already talked about melon cake and stuff. And I was like, she just said, I eat McDonald's. And obviously she didn't. And that was totally something. This could have been like the start of her eating disorder. I'm like, and she
Right.
put it in this song. I don't know if she wrote La La Land. Maybe she was a co-writer, but I don't know. It was just one of those things. I'm like, oh my God, it just hit me.
I love La La Land. That's almost one of my favorite songs by her, like probably
Yeah,
ever.
no, I agree. That's a
It's just,
great little pop song.
yeah, it's super cute. Like it's just written by Demi Lovato, Joe Jonas, Kevin Jonas, and Nick Jonas.
She wrote it with the Jonas Brothers?
Apparently, that's what the Apple says.
Huh. Okay.
Dude, look, we're both like,
Interesting. I don't know if I can see Nick Jonas writing those lyrics, but okay.
yeah, who said I can't wear my Converse with my
With my
dress?
Creswell baby. Yeah, that's how it goes. That's just me. This is a real, this is me. Okay, maybe it does make sense.
Oh,
Anyway,
so
wow. How did I leave Taylor and go back to Demi? Normally I'd make everything about Taylor. Look at me go.
right.
But
So that brings me to one of my favorite songs of the week, Dancing with the Devil.
yes.
I've been listening to it like a lot, so much so that my mom was surprised I hadn't seen the video until yesterday.
Oh,
But we all know I'm not a music video girl,
mhm.
so
But
I
did you watch
watched
the
it.
music video?
Yeah. I felt like it was okay. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not everyone else is having that reaction too. And I'm like, this is the saddest, most tragic, best music video I've ever seen.
Tell Me You Love Me was harder for me than this one. I can hardly watch Tell Me You Love Me video.
I
Like I
don't
can't.
remember that one. I don't remember
Jesse
how.
Williams from Grey's Anatomy is on there and he plays the love interest and he literally they're fighting the whole time, they're getting engaged, they're the couple, whatever, and he leaves her at the altar. And I'm like, oh my God, if that's
Yeah.
what Wilmer Valderrama did to you, we'll kill him.
Yeah, yeah, I do remember that now. It's been years since I watched that video.
Right. Well,
I was just like watching the Dance with the Devil music video and how hard that must have been for her to film that. Laying back in that hospital bed with, oh, obviously they weren't actually in her, but having the tubes in her neck that were filtering out her blood, then being in a club and taking, well, they were obviously fake shots, but taking shots and drinking and partying and um, laying in that bed as her rapist drug dealer stood over her, and having to film all of that and go back to those places. Mm. And that was a lot of music videos and a lot of shows and stuff, they can be based in reality, but normally they have someone else act it out for them because it's so hard. And it blew me away that she actually went there.
so what I'm confused about is her hair. Her hair was done very well. So was this shot like pre-corona or was it shot after corona and they just put the weave on her again or what's up?
Well, I'm assuming it was she just got her hair cut not long ago. Like,
Yeah,
I think it was literally just a couple weeks ago. Like, I think
maybe a month ago
yeah.
at
So I
most.
think they just shot the music video before she had her hair cut.
And they just put the weave in it. Heard.
Yeah.
I don't know, it didn't work for me. It felt like it was from because Demi Lovato, not only is she and she speaks on it a lot. Like she's like, not only am I a singer, I'm an advocate, I'm this, I'm that. I'm very much in the public eye because I share everything I do on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
for me, that hair just felt so old. Like I don't know. And the video felt kind of cheaply edited. I felt like the meaning behind it and everything you were saying, I felt was supposed to be there, but it just wasn't quite there for me. That was another one of those things that was, and I don't know. It's probably just my personal opinion. And if I watch it again, I might feel differently about it. But
Yeah. I
I
don't know.
know it had to be hard for her to film too, though. I do agree with that. Like it had to be a hard thing to film.
So my next question is, we've talked a lot about the Grammys because we started this podcast during Grammy season. Do you think this would be a heavy competitor going into the Grammys? No.
No.
I So Demi has never won a Grammy. She's been nominated for two, I believe, and that's it. And I think if they're going to award her something, because she's been around for forever, not saying her career is over, obviously, but she's been around for a long time. They really need to recognize her somehow. And I think the album, because it's not all about the big singles. I think it makes it more attractive to Grammy voters, and I'm really, really hoping it at least gets a nomination for album of the year in the pop categories too.
It might get a nod, but I don't think it's strong enough to win in any category.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that just depends on what else comes out this year, because we talked about during our Grammy episode, not a lot of super strong bodies of work have come out so far this year. Like I don't know if Ariana's album wasn't bad, but it wasn't Thank You Next.
Yeah, by any means.
I don't know if Justin Bieber's album Justice is good enough because of the backlash with the Martin Luther King stuff. I don't know if that's really a front runner. I think it will be in the pop categories, but when it comes to actual album of the year, I don't know. Megan Thee Stallion, I don't know. Like Miley Cyrus, I don't know. So it's like, and I think the only one that is very likely, but because she just won it, maybe not, is Evermore by Taylor Swift. But like, it just won, Folklore just won, so maybe not. So it's like, who is there? And I think out of all of those albums, aside from Evermore, I think Demi's album is the strongest. So it's like, it might not be, but if we don't get a lot of better releases, I think it has a much better chance. Yeah, because like Cardi's gonna release something. I'm sure Adele. I mean, not sure Adele, but I think Adele might release something. Beyonce might release something, and then they can make it more competitive. But at this time, I don't really see who else really her competition is. You know what I mean?
I feel like Miley's album's really strong.
Yeah,
and
I just feel like
that's
everyone.
about it. I mean, Righteously.
Yeah, and I don't know. The Grammys haven't been nice to really Miley or Demi, so it's like I don't know. It's just one of those things. And not that the Grammys are very far away, so who knows? But that's
Yeah.
one thing I'm always kind of listening for is this a Grammy album or is it just another album? And I think the Academy likes her enough to nominate her. I hope so. Well, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait.
Yeah, but I guess that's everything.
Wait, we gotta say that I've been listening to a lot of Mitchell Tenpenny's Bucket List.
Oh, yes. So before we get off of here, Chelsey did have her first real job post college graduation. And I not that I forgot, but I haven't really had time to pick your brain. So just kind of tell all of our listeners what happened.
Okay, so basically I hung out and got to see a free show and ran some errands for the band and made sure they had what they needed, and it was pretty cool.
Very nice. So did they have a oh my God, now I can't think of what it's called. What is the list of things that they
A rider? No, they didn't
rider.
have a rider. No.
No.
They it's a really small venue. It's an old Coca-Cola bottling plant that's turned into a music venue. So like the loading dock that they would pull to unload their bottles and load them and stuff, that is the actual stage, like one of the loading docks is.
Okay.
And they built like up around it and stuff. So yeah, I don't think there's like a green room, shall we say. They had like their tour bus in the back, and then the other, like the opener that was with them, he was just kind of chilling with his regular truck. So they were from the opening people were from Rome, Georgia, so I don't think that's too far away.
Right.
But yeah, so that's what I was worried about. Like, am I gonna have to get there and set up all this area, or like what? I didn't really know what to expect, and I was supposed to be following somebody, but I ended up just working it by myself. But it was fine because it's pretty much like serving, just in a different capacity.
Right. And it was Mitchell Tenpenny.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if our listeners know Mitchell Tenpenny. We had never talked about him before. He's had a couple country hits. I'm pretty sure he's had at least one number one on country radio. So
Yeah.
he's not a huge deal, but he's a pretty big deal. So it's pretty cool that you got to work with him. But so
He,
you've gotten in some of his music and you're enjoying a lot of it.
oh, for sure, dude. Yeah. He has a song called Bucket List, and the video is great. The song is great. Like, he recorded the video in Arizona on a bunch of like the state parks and stuff. And he was like actually checking stuff off of his bucket list while he was out there filming. And I don't know. I love it. I have a bucket list and I enjoy bucket listing, like doing things before I'm dead.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
I should make a bucket list.
You really should.
I'm now in my mid-20s and I've actually realized that there's life out there. I should make a bucket list. I'm gonna do that.
I would say 20, like 425 is when I really got serious. Like, okay, these are the things I want to do by the time I'm just say 40, and I'm gonna do them. And
yeah.
I don't know. It's nice. The song's super cute. He's got another single called Can't Go to Church. It's awesome.
I'll have to listen to it.
Yeah. And
I listen to a little bit of country, but I kind of stick with the artists that I know. So I'm always kind of down to listen into a new one. So if it's not Kelsey Ballerini or Chris Stapleton or Luke Combs, I might not be listening to it. I have who are the country artists I like? Those three: Kelsey Ballerini, Chris Stapleton. I like Thomas Rhett, Kane Brown. That's really it. There's some others that I like, but I don't really seek them out too much. So.
Yeah, I mean, if I listen to country, I'm usually like super old school, like Tim McGraw, Faith Hill, like the original kind of like country stars, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So Leanne Rimes, I met her when I was like 6. Fan club moment.
My dad met Leanne Rimes before. He said she was really cool, really down to earth.
Yeah. Well, she was like 16 and I was like 6, and I don't really remember much.
Right. I've met Dolly Parton. That was pretty cool.
Really?
I was probably elementary or middle school. I was down where I live now, but I grew up in Pennsylvania. We were down here visiting, and we decided we were all going to go to Dollywood in Tennessee. So nice. Big group of us all pack up. All of our parents rent a big cabin in the Smoky Mountains, and the next day we go to Dollywood, and Dolly Parton's actually there. And I will never, and she's never there, but I will never forget. It's like me and a bunch of my cousins, and we're all young. Actually, my friend that called me earlier, she's actually my cousin. She was there, so she remembers this too. And we tell this story all the time. We had our elderly great grandmother with us, right? She's in a wheelchair. We're pushing her along. Well, they're pushing her along. We're walking next to them. My grandma and my friend Brianna's grandma. So my grandma, my Aunt Sue, they just see Dolly take off. They leave. My great grandma just hanging there. So, and we're on a little bit of a hill. So all of us have to like grab her wheelchair before any of us even know what's happening. My grandma and my Aunt Sue are amazing humans, but and I could have like these events a little wrong in my head. This is just how I remembered it. I'm sure they didn't just abandon all of us to take off to see Dolly Parton, but that's how
I'm sure they did.
So grandma, Aunt Sue, if you're watching this, I don't actually hold this against you, but like, you should have told me so I could run with you, period. Leave everything. We don't need them.
Grab grandma, let's go.
Yeah. It was kind of cool. We saw Dolly Parton twice in one day because we saw her that time when she had a little parade. And then she had like a little not really a show, but like she was on stage and she was talking, and then she was letting people come up and talk to her afterwards. So I think all I said was, "Hi, I'm Dylan." And she goes, "Hi, Dylan, nice to meet you." And then went on about her day.
But still, that's a "Hi, Dylan, nice to meet you" from Dolly Parton.
Yeah, pretty cool. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Maybe
And
she
you
loses
weren't
that.
grown up enough to know to blubber like me. I blubber. I blubber all the time.
Yeah,
I'm a blubber.
I love Dolly Parton.
I
But
met Angela Johnson. She's a comedian, and I just was like,
yeah, there's probably a lot. There's a big list of people that I would not know what to do if I was around. Taylor Swift, Emily Kinney. uh,
dude, yes, Emily Kenny.
I would die. But okay, I think that wraps up Jukebox Junkies for this week. Well, you can tell we've been talking for a long time because my voice just cracked.
Right.
um, but yeah, so not sure exactly what we're going to talk about next week. Let us know. So in our Walking Dead podcast, we are going character by character and we're doing like character spotlight episodes kind of. We had Chelsey and I had thrown around the idea of doing a similar kind of thing, but with music artists. So like we do a deep dive into Taylor Swift or a deep dive into Ariana Grande or whoever, like it doesn't matter. Those are just the first two artists came to my brain. Let us know if you guys would like to see that. We could start like from the very beginning of their career and kind of talk about it all the way up. And so we could be doing character highlights for a show and artist highlights for music. So if that's something you guys want to see, let us know. And maybe we could start that next week or we will do something else. All right. Well, we have been Jukebox Junkies. Bye.
Hi, guys.
if it's I love me or like I'm ready, it's not gonna work. But if it's like sorry, not sorry, cool for the summer. Not saying she needs to recreate those songs at all. That's not what I'm saying, but something with those kinds of energies and levels, but also relating to her story and bringing it full circle. If it's done right, this could be the year of Demi Lovato.
It really could, and I'm super excited. This album, I don't know if it's the deluxe version I have saved on my Apple Music or if it's just the regular album, but it's got 19 tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's insane, and it's fixing to be. I feel like it's gonna give folklore a run for its money.
It very,
You know,
it,
just saying,
yeah. And Demi's never
it's
had a
going to be
huge
great.
blockbuster album like Folklore or what was the other one? Or like Future Nostalgia. Like she's never had all of her albums, they've done well. She has a couple #1 albums, but she hasn't had that huge like I guess Confident would be that was the name of the album, right? Confident. Um
The one that Confident was on, that was this one, right? Neon.
no, the Neon Lights is before. I think it was called Confident.
Confident was the next one.
I think so. I think it went
That the one with the Iggy Azalea song on it.
yeah, Kingdom. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That was probably her biggest album so far, and I think this one could blow it out of the water. But we shall see.
We'll see. We'll see. I think we're all going to have really high expectations for it now, and I don't want to be let down.
Right. And I wonder if she's gonna include Sober in anyone on it.
Anyone is already like the leading track, I believe.
Is it? It doesn't say if she wants it to be like a story album, which I could really see it being. I don't know if that's the plan or not. It'd be almost really poetic to start the album with Sober and end it with Anyone and like have like these songs in between. I think that'd be really powerful. I don't know if that's the plan or not, because the track listing's not out, right?
No. Well, it was just showing Anyone and What Other People Say. So that's 1 and 10. But now it's showing at track number 2 is Dancing with the Devil.
Okay. And that one, that's with Sam Fisher, correct?
What Other People Say? Yes.
Okay. Then I know that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know about what people say.
Well, I guess that wraps it up.
Yeah, guys, thanks for joining us on this really super sad episode of Jukebox Junkies.
Yeah, let us know your thoughts on what you think the song of the summer could be. If it's going to be one of the ones we talked about, if you think it's going to be something else, if it's not going to be Peaches, tell us why. And yeah, send Demi your love. Let us know your thoughts. Yeah, and try to learn something from it. Whether everyone has their own struggles, whether it's addiction, whether it's body image, or if it's something else totally. It could be depression. It could be any mental health struggle at all. Everyone has something, either super small, super big. Everyone has something. So watch this and try to learn from it, and apply something to your life, and try to learn something about yourself and learn something that you could watch out for in your friends, your family, your loved ones, people you work with. Try to see signs of these and just know how to help them and talk to them. And yeah.
For sure. And if you need help, don't hesitate to reach out. There are so many resources for mental health awareness, for people with all kinds of eating disorders that you may be struggling with, or even addiction.
Absolutely. So, and I will put links to all the places down.
All the places.
Yeah, all the places. Yeah. So on that note, we are out. This is the lowest energy we've gone out on.
Ever. We're sorry about that, you guys. And it's not that we're not just sad. It's just that we've all spent a day learning and processing.
Right. And it's an important topic to talk about and to process and to learn from and experience. So, and we'll probably talk about this more when we get 3 and 4 and give our final thoughts and everything,
For
and
sure.
see how the rest of her story unwraps. So,
All right, guys. Till next
well
time.
then, peace.
Bye.
Stupid.